Act 1, Scene 4. The setting is Mike's apartment after the night out. Sonia joins the guys as they finish the night by getting stoned. At Rise, the three are sitting at the table, passing around Joe.
So, Bobby, tell me about your parents. How they doing?
They're okay, getting old. Dad's been on disability for years, got hurt on the job, and he's been collecting ever since. Mom never worked. They've learned how to get by on those monthly checks, and they have little worries in the world, although the months with 31 days are a bummer.
Mike, I don't really know anything about your parents. You never mentioned them.
They're alive.
Glancing at Bobby.
They're alive, right? I mean, have you heard any different?
Michael, how could you joke like that?
While the two boys are chuckling.
Relax. I'm sure someone would have called me if they died.
Laughing a little harder now.
Not your brother, chump.
Laughing harder still.
What's your brother's name? I thought it was Louis.
Yes and no. My dad made a wisecrack once and it kind of stuck.
I still remember when your dad said it. We were playing a board game and your brother won, and he raised up his arms and shouted, "I'm the champ!" Then your dad looked up and said, "Don't you mean you're the chump?"
Now hysterical.
We've been calling him chump ever since, for years. I'm starting to understand why I never get a Christmas card from that bastard.
So, what about your parents? How are they? I mean, I know they're divorced and all that.
Well, I don't see my mother much, and she's as crazy as ever when I do talk to her. But I talk to my dad like every day. He's always been there for me. I'm a lucky girl. When I was young, I would go on rants about various things, and he would just sit patiently, paying attention, smiling, and letting me go on and on and on. He was a real fan of mine.
Give us an example. What kind of stuff would you come up with?
Well, one he just reminded me of recently was my theory on the bubble and the pine cones.
The two men are looking at each other curiously.
Okay, you have our intention.
Well, you know how when you're young, your parents protect you from the world, kind of like putting a bubble around you?
They nod in agreement and try to follow.
As I got older and began to see people, including myself, have some troubles, I saw how we handled them differently. Picture our bubbles are like a force field, and life's problems are like pine cones flying at us. Depending on how well equipped our parents left us to deal with things is how strong our bubble is. Say most pine cones that hit us make noise and leaves marks on our shell. No big deal, right? But every once in a while we take a different hit and the bubble gets a hole.
She is standing, acting out the story in dramatic fashion.
Here's the best part. The tools our parents gave us in the toolbox that's kept just outside the bubble. When we need to fix a hole, we must leave the safety of the bubble to get the tools we need to make the repair. And since the pine cones keep coming, patching the holes need to be done very quickly. Those with good skills can patch that sucker in no time, but put the toolbox back where it belongs and get back to their place. Those who are indecisive and move slow, or those who are too weak to grab their box and carry it in, will gradually fall behind in keeping a solid bubble. As we get older, like our problems, the pine cones get bigger, and if we can't deal with them, if the bubble keeps getting holes, at some point it shatters, as do people. Those are the poor souls that will need help picking up the pieces, or will go on to numb themselves in some ways to hide from their vulnerabilities, from their exposure to the world.
Both men have the jaws open. Eventually, their minds catch up.
Holy shit, is that us? Are you talking about us? We're numbing ourselves? Mike, is my bubble smashed?
Looking around the ground and mildly freaking out.
I don't have any tools.
Pull it together, Bobby!
Reaches down, pretending to pick up something off the floor, placing it on the make-believe bubble in front of Bobby's face.
Here, I got you covered. Your hole's patched. Don't mention it. But Sonia, wow, that was some deep shit. How old were you when you came up with that?
It was when my cousin was going through something he wasn't handling well, so like 12 maybe?
Your mind, so sexy to me right now. Does that bubble let friends in from time to time?
I don't know. Does your toolbox have a proper protective devices?
Being mindful of Bobby, Mike changes the subject.
Bobby, how many miles do you think we put on my dad's car senior year of high school cruising around town?
Remember that time we didn't have water for the bong, so we just packed snow into Joe? Snow tokes!
You guys have been friends for years, huh? I remember you in high school. As far as underclassmen go, you were okay. Mike, your band played at one of the dances, didn't it?
Yeah, a fundraiser for the Latin Club. The place was packed. Hands down, my best night of high school. Oh, people were dancing in the halls. Bobby was acting like security that night, keeping kids out of the dressing room.
Which was a janitor's closet.
We thought we were somebody that night. Sonia, you'd already graduated by then. Why were you there?
I was asked to go by a senior. That was the time when I saw Chip's date end the night with somebody else. It was humiliating. Hard to believe it's been 7 years since then.
Tell me about it. I was supposed to be touring the world by now, not working 9 to 5 for a heartless corporation. Shit, I'm not even in a band anymore. Some nights I wake up feeling terrified, feeling like I have no control for my life.
Video 1 begins playing on an overhead screen. Shows one person among many, starting young, growing older, marching incessantly towards the edge of a cliff, unable to stop the inevitable.
What plays out in my head is that as a child I wanted people to lead me, play with me, teach me. I was a little always looking up, wanting to be older, like the big kids, have more friends, cars, graduating, and busting out into the world. It wasn't that long ago that I saw I was now with the crowd. I'd hit my stride. Plenty of options, meeting people, going places, albeit confusing at times, but living life, and even trying to push ahead faster. Only now I feel the crowd has thickened further, and I've become a speck lost in a multitude, marching in one direction. There's not as much room to move around anymore. Always bumping into somebody, always someone standing in the way, blocking me from getting to where I want to go, and then I see the future. See what's coming. I already want life to slow down, give me a chance to do the things I wanted to do. Instead, I'm completely focused on trying to impress the boss so I can make more money, to get a bigger place, to raise my 2.4 kids. Shit! I'm marching right into my parents' life and I can't stop it. I see the future right in front of me. A cliff. Death. I want it to stop, but everyone around me keeps pushing. Stop it. Wait. Don't push. Then this thought add further gloom to my misery. The reward for a lifetime of dreaming and of working. Everyone falls over the edge. Some are fighting it, screaming with terror. Others thankful for the relief. But everyone goes over. It doesn't stop. It can't be stopped. We can't even slow it down. For just one night, if only I can get in my car, hit a button, and go back in time to my senior year. Cruising in the old Chevy.
Guitar intro for A Light of the Night begins. Mike sets up his chair like it's a driver's seat, adjusting his mirrors, turning the key and putting it in gear. Bobby and Sonia move their seats into place and make like they're passengers, buckling up and looking out the windows. Mike sings, they all act out the lyrics. The song begins.
I've been driving around for hours without a destiny. I stop in my spot and ask myself, where can I be? Nothing familiar around me. I can see only ahead. Turning to the light for help, it answers bright and red.
Bobby flicks the lighter, takes the hit. Mike keeps singing.
The light of the night, forever burning bright. Sweetness fills me with peacefulness and life looks all right. The trees applaud loudly for the show we put on as the animals watch in astonishment because we're acting so calm. And the moon keeps on climbing stars as I watch through the fog in the car. It looks no further than a reach away, but I think it's really quite far. Yes, I think it's really quite far.
The mellow instrumental part ensues. They exit the car and dance around in a trance until the music changes and paranoia steps in. They jump back into the car wide-eyed.
People I know and trust so well I see before my eyes in altered states. I can tell they're all full of lies. It hurts to know the truth, I think, if the truth is true. But in this time of clouds and drink, I sometimes feel the fool. Now my body's no longer with me, it's buried under the air. Although I feel I'm sleeping, my mind still can hear. all the sounds around me, like the spirits running by. I watch the bats up in the sky, and it makes me want to fly.
Music returns to calm. They're now quite stoned and mellow.
Coming down now, the flight is over. The moon is high in the sky. Another night gone, we're a few hours older as we kiss our high goodbye. But the light of the night will be forever burning bright. The sweetness fills me with peacefulness, and life looks all right.
End of song.
Thanks for the trip back, buddy, but I'm out. It's time for Jill to come over.
Oh, Bobby, you met someone?
Let's just say it's an on-again, off-again relationship. Peace out.
He leaves,
Later, dude.
turning to Sonia.
So, what do you want to do now?
Sonia leans in. They kiss. Blackout. End of scene.
That was intense.
That's
Really good.
That's just heavy duty.
So that's the psychedelic song of the whole show. Black light, strobe light, I mean all those visual effects will be in place.
Wow.